everyone. Welcome back to the Diversity Project. I am your host, Rhonda Kulch, and on today's episode, we are speaking with people who specialize in working with our special needs community. Of course, every week at the Diversity Project, we're focused on educating our community about resources and opportunities, and today's episode is no different. So in studio, we have with us a friend of mine, Ira Dunne. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you, Rhonda.
Excellent. So you have an amazing story. So why don't we start with you explaining to everybody about what the Social Brain does and how it evolved over the last few years and what your projections are moving forward.
So we started the Social Brain as a group of families and friends and survivors to come together to build relationships and friendships for brain injury survivors. About 2 years ago, I've been working in the TBI field for about 10 years or plus now, and quite often doing the in-home therapies, the biggest thing that they always had a problem with was saying that my friends have all left me and my family is limited as well. So a lot of times the friendship is the biggest social component that helps them in their recovery, because one person can go to therapy and leave physical therapy on a Friday, and the next person that they see is a physical therapist when they go back on Monday morning because they sat at home alone all weekend long.
So in other words, this is a social network of people that share the same exact diagnoses.
Yes. Brain injuries themselves can occur in so many different ways, whether it's medical, a car accident, pedestrian. It could even be attempted suicide with mental health, drug overdose. There's a variety of different ways that a brain injury can occur. However, the aftermath of friends fading away and family members fading away are very common ground.
So tell me a little bit about what your organization does to support the people with this diagnosis.
So in the grassroots of our organization, our board consists of about 10 or 11 individuals and family members and survivors. And out of that, 4 or 5 of them are TBI survivors. So even our board of directors starts off with the organization starting off with 4 or 5 of them on the board of directors. From there, we plan weekend activities, weekend programs, whether it's bowling, a horse farm for horse engagement day, picnics, barbecues, Long Island Aquarium. We've done Ducks baseball game a few times prior to COVID. But the biggest thing is to get them out, let them enjoy everyday things that you and I would enjoy as well.
Now, do the people that you service, are they able to drive themselves, or do you have to actually make arrangements for everybody to have a meeting place and then you go as a group? There's a variety. Some of our individuals with a brain injury have a mild brain injury and they're still welcome to join us. They drive there or they meet there with families. And other families have been able to secure handicap accessible vehicles, and some people use public transportation, such as the Suffolk County Accessible Transportation with SCAP buses, or in Nassau County, the NICE Able Rides. Nice. Now, as far as we go, and I was just explaining this before to with our past guest, which was Bob Policastro. I don't really know how to describe where we are in today's state of COVID, but how has COVID affected your ability to do your activities, and what have you done in lieu of that to keep everything moving? And then even from a fundraising perspective, what does that look like for your organization to be able to support the families?
Right. So that's a lot, but we will answer all these questions for you, Rhonda. The biggest thing is the friendship and the isolation, and that's way prior to COVID, which now the entire country is in isolation and having friendship and isolation issues. But we started off with many Zoom programs, Zoom trivia, music on the computer. We tried different, small meet and greets at a coffee shop when it was allowed. We started small little picnics. We did do a bigger picnic in October where it was a free event. Come out and enjoy, and bring a picnic lunch and spread out across the picnic tables in the grass. So that was an outdoor event. The biggest thing that's also affected our individuals is the medical supplies. We have been able to what started off as a small little mom and pop here, do you have any diapers? Do you have any chucks? Do you have any supplies for us? Has now turned into now a weekly pickup in Port Jeff at our new community center, which we actually were able to open during the pandemic. We were actually able to gain space in a community center. So we now have a weekly medical care closet up in Port Jeff where families who are finding themselves short on supplies such as adult diapers, chucks, medical supplies, wound care supplies that they cannot get because everything was being routed to the hospitals, we have an enormous donation of supplies coming in now.
Which is amazing to hear. Now, what are you doing to get the word out? Do people find you? Where can we learn more about what your organization is doing?
Well, our biggest thing is social media. On Facebook, our Social Brain page itself, which is the Social Brain NY, it has about 1,300 followers right now. And then separate from that, we actually had to branch off and do a medical care closet page for the medical supplies. And that has about 800 followers right now looking for supplies or messaging when they are in need of supplies or if they have supplies to donate. So we have about 800 followers on that. And then also we have our full website at thesocialbrain.org. So that's also available where we're updating the webpage itself.
Now, from an organizational standpoint, how did you specifically get started in this particular career?
I have worked with special needs myself for about 20 plus years, my entire career. Since I went out of college, I've been in special needs, working with Special Olympics, working with autism and developmental disabilities as a recreational therapist, a variety of different positions. I was a group home house manager for many years as well. And I branched over to TBI, to Traumatic Brain Injury Services, and have loved it because the traumatic brain injury survivors are everyday people like you and I at any time an injury can occur. Someone with a developmental disability or autism or CP, we love them the most that we love them. However, their disability has always been with them. With a brain injury, it can be any one of us. And then actually about 4 or 5 years working into the field, I actually had my own mild stroke myself after coming home from a day at work. So I know firsthand what it's like to be out of work now for 3-4 months and all the services that needed to be put in place, all the doctor's appointments that had to be traveled back and forth and the testing at the hospitals and stuff. So.
Now, is this something that you do full-time or is this part-time?
The brain injury, the social brain program is all volunteer work. So many of us are overlap with our individuals that we work with in the TBI community as a case manager or as a behavior specialist, and the physical therapy department at one of the rehabs is very involved in the speech department. So they're all very involved, but the social brain itself runs 100% on volunteers.
I love that. And, you did mention that financial component. Obviously, I'm the executive director for the Equity First Foundation. We do financial literacy programs. So if you do have any families that are in need or are trying to restructure a budget due to a disability, by all means, you let us know. We would love to work and support you in any way that we can. Again, when we hear about organizations like yours, it's so important that we help give you a voice. Tell people, we know you're in Port Jeff. When can they find you? Where? We already covered the social media aspect, but is there certain times that you are more accessible than others? Yeah.
So the closet itself is available every Tuesday from 4:30 to 6:30 in Port Jeff in Davis Medical Park. It's 5225 Nesconset Highway, Building 3. So we're always in there every Tuesday. Unless there's an emergency that arises, we'll post that up on social media that it's closed for one particular week.
And will you also take gently used medical equipment?
So what we'll do for that, Rhonda, is we usually will take pictures of the medical equipment, and we use our social media page to help share our program, with our program participants, so that if there's a family looking, they can see what's available. But we won't take in the actual devices itself because of the size.
Perfect. Well, we are in studio today with Ira Dunne from the Social Brain. Again, this is Rhonda Kulch, host of the Diversity Project. And of course, always want to thank our sponsors, LifeVac, an innovative first aid device that could save lives with their non-powered suction device used to clear an airway obstruction. Visit lifevac.net to order yours today.